What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBet Solutions. So just another mid-market recap on today's trading. I do want to give a shout out to all the members that participated in today's event. For all those that were able to make a profit and were able to learn, I do want to individually and as a group thank you guys for all the support that you guys have been giving me. Your support has been very encouraging and very supportive, so I really do appreciate it. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the two different stocks that I jumped in today were NUGT and IPI. Let me go ahead and do my analysis since I jumped into NUGT first and talk about my whole thought process when jumping in. So obviously gold having a huge spike as of yesterday because of the interest rates that the government has implemented into our economy. What this meant was usually when there's just an increase in interest rates, there's usually an increase in the price of gold. And in doing that, NUGT came from a bounce of like 750 to highs of 790, and this was pre-market, right? As soon as the market opened, I told everyone, to take a step back. Don't worry about jumping in to, into the quickest stock just because of all the hype that's behind it. I want to make sure that you guys truly understand and identify that potential. So I knew there was going to be, all of a sudden a sudden correction, but I didn't expect it to be this sudden. So JNUG and NUGT both saw the same correction, and I was like being patient, making sure you identify the support, the resistance level to plan out your trade. So what I did was I was initially going to buy in at $9.50. It broke right below the support, so good thing I was patient there. Ended up buying at the bounce, on the second bounce, when it hit lows of about 918, came above this 920 support, and then I bought in. Ended up hitting highs of 940, and that's where I ended up following with a trailing stop loss, and I ended up selling. So with that, I was able to lock in a small $66 profit. But again, I sold at the perfect point, and I was shouting this out in the group chat as it was following. I was able to identify this resistance, meaning where it peaks out, because of the old support that it has here. So like we know, old supports become new resistance levels. And as soon as it broke, the current support at 920, now that becomes a resistance level, meaning that once it drops below it, it struggles to hold above that certain price point. And it did just that. Then ended up bouncing from the 920 to 910. From 910 to 920, and then dropped below the 910. Bounced from $9, and it's been holding pretty well with that. So again, another 20% profit margin from 9 to 920, but again, not the potential that we've been trying to see. So although $9 isn't necessarily a horrible buy-in, because you can set up a plan, and that's what I want to make sure you guys understand. When trading, all I want you guys to focus on is identifying the potential, the support, the resistance, to identify a good buy point, good sell point, and to set up a plan to minimize loss. So what you can do is, let's say it comes back down to $9. You buy in at $9. Your plan to sell is at $9.20, $9.40, just because realistically that's where it's been at as of today. And if you want to really go for it, then you can shoot for $9.90 or $9.80, but that's a little bit more unrealistic based on currently what's happening with NUGT. Definitely doesn't mean that it's impossible. If anything, the EMA line that you see right here, it's actually showing upward momentum. So again, it's at being able to identify a good buy point, good sell point, and cutting your losses short. If you see that it's been bouncing at this $9 point pretty well, I would say cut losses anything below $8.95 to minimize loss, giving it some margin but not too much margin, because most likely when it does bleed below $9, you're going to see it continue bleeding back down. So I'm going to follow NUGT and see how it plays out today. I might try to jump in a little bit more at $9 and try to ride it to the 920, 940 point, just because that EMA line looks so good. So right now it's sitting right around $9.10. So that's not bad. It's holding above the previous support that it had right here. So let's go ahead and move on to IPI. And with this trade, I shouted this one out in the group. This was during the pre-market movers. It hit lows of 121. It hit highs during pre-market hours of 130. Although after market hours, as of yesterday, since it closed yesterday at around a little bit above 140, and this is the video that I uploaded yesterday. This is why I said that I love chasing red stocks, because this one closed at 140 and he took a sudden dip. Usually because people see that it's in the red, they stay away from it. But I want to make sure that you guys are reminded that we are day traders. We want to jump into stocks that have potential, and stocks that usually take dumps like this have solid bounces. It's all about identifying the support, identifying the resistance, and then setting up a plan to lead to your success. So what I did, I was initially going to get in at 125, but I didn't. I wanted to see more of an upward momentum or an upward trend. And what I saw right here was that it was holding pretty well around 130. So I didn't want to get in at 125. and end up, not being able to pass above 130. So what I did was I tried to stay patient. It went above 130 and it went to highs of 132, came back down. I got filled at 130 because I saw the support. As you can see, that it pretty much held and flatlined at this 130 point. I had my stop loss set at 129.9. It did not fill. So I minimized my loss, right? I minimized my risk, and I knew my potential, my reality, what it could hit based on where it closed at yesterday was around 140. I just sold at 1.399. I stop lossed out when it hit highs of 142. I moved my stop loss from 135 to a 140 or 1.399 to give it some room, but ended up getting filled, and that's pretty much it. Right now it's trading right around. It looks like $1.39, so nothing too crazy. Didn't miss out on much, but again, it's about having a plan, sticking to the plan, minimizing loss, and promoting growth, and making sure that you see that potential. So I brought in a little bit under $230 with this trade alone, and overall on the day, I'm pretty close to my I exceeded my $250 daily goal, and I'm pretty close to exceeding the $300 for today. But this is pretty much my recap on today's trading. I hope you guys found my thought process helpful in giving you guys a better understanding on what to look for, how to identify potential, and to make sure that you guys set up a plan. I did call out DRYS today just because it's been, stagnant as of yesterday. I actually thought that it was going to have a really big drop. Although it did have a pretty big drop, I actually thought it was going to continue to drop. I shutted it out when it was at like 155, 160, that I thought it was going to continue to drop. But again, I'm not always correct. It's about setting up a plan. And something that some of the members within the group did was they identified the potential that it closed at 170 yesterday. It was at 160, so that potential from 160 to 170 is nearly 10%. So being able to set up a game plan to buy in at 160, stop loss out anything below 160, and have a limit order ready to set around 170, 172. It went well above that, as you can see, 190. And although it says 8% growth, we know from 160 to 190, that's a 30-cent gain on a $1 and 60-cent stock. That's nearly 20% profit within one day. Although this only reflects based on the market open $8.48. So I want to make sure that you guys truly, as day traders, understand that it's nice following these numbers, but it's about you as a trader to identify that potential and to not get scared based on whatever the market percentage says it's growing or decreasing by. And that's pretty much it. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in. There will be a video today later on at 5:30 Mountain Standard Time that's going to be published. And we upload Monday through Friday a helpful video every day at 5:30 to give you guys a better understanding and help you guys be a little bit more successful when it comes to trading. And again, those videos are actually found right here on my playlist in my YouTube channel. We're right a little bit below 5,000 subscribers, so if you could help us out, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys again so much. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and let's make sure that we end the week on a green note. Take care, guys. Baby, don't you let it go to waste. We could put